For future reference, boys and girls, this is my grumpy face. You've probably seen it before if you've been around on the channel for a long time. Would you believe that, and you already know about this if you follow me on Twitter, so this is only building up tension for those of you who don't. You should be following me on Twitter, but would you believe in a week when I was finally going to get to go to my first football match in nearly 2 years, we were going to take Andy to Nottingham. We were going to get some time away.
Oh God.
We were gonna finally have some time away from Andy for the first time since we moved. We were gonna have a couple of nights away in a hotel, and probably, I guess, most important of all, it's my brother's wedding on Saturday. Would you believe that this is the week where we get pinged by the NHS COVID app for the first time? We've just literally had it come through this afternoon. It's Monday afternoon as I record this, and we've just both got the ping at pretty much the same time, haven't we?
I didn't get pinged. I checked mine. I didn't get a ping.
Oh, mine actually pinged up on the screen.
Oh, no, mine didn't.
Oh, so yours was, you just had to check the app for it. So if you hadn't have opened the app, you wouldn't have known. That's ridiculous. But yeah, mine did pop up on the screen as a notification while I was using my phone. And yeah, I'll put the message up on screen now. This is what you get when you get pinged by the app.
So, what it could have been was when you had your phone yesterday and mine was in the locker, you probably got pinged, and because I live with you, it's followed on to me. Maybe.
But yeah, this is what you get when you get pinged. You get this message come up telling you to self-isolate for 10 days, which rules us out of doing all of that stuff that we just talked about. Or does it? Because I don't understand the rules. I'm in the middle of quite the discussion on Twitter at the moment about, firstly, how legally binding it is, firstly, how seriously we should take it. We're both double vaccinated, we've both done negative lateral flow tests, we don't have it and we're unlikely to get it. Should we be following the ping?
And it's advisory.
Yeah, apparently the ping from the app is an advisory thing. You don't have to have the app. If you have the app, you don't have to have contact tracing turned on. And if you have contact tracing turned on and you get pinged, it's only advice to self-isolate and you don't have to self-isolate. Now, obviously, we like to consider ourselves to be responsible, sensible members of society. But as a responsible member of society, I look at the situation and think, double vaccinated, we're pretty sure where the exposure happened and when, because on the app, it tells you on the app when the exposure date was. So our exposure date was the 8th of August.
Now thinking really back to the 8th of
August. Yeah, the 8th of August, yesterday's vlog, that's when we went to the trampoline park and then we went out for lunch. But for us to both get the contact tracing, unless it's happened the way Anna's said, which we've only just thought about as a possibility, but assuming we both got pinged by other people, both got the contact tracing by other people, the only time we both had our phones was in the restaurant, because in the trampoline place I had my phone so I was filming with it, but Anna's phone was in the locker, so anything that happened in there we didn't both have our phones with us. So unless it happened the way Anna said, it got me then I got her. But I don't think it works like that. I don't think it works like that, because if I get it, the app doesn't know we live together and I've not tested positive, so you won't get, otherwise it'd just be an infinite chain reaction. Because if you're getting pinged because you're near me, then anyone you've been near gets pinged as well. And all of a sudden, you're 25 steps away from the person who tested positive, and it makes no sense. So we must have both got the ping. So it didn't happen at the trampoline place. It happened in the restaurant. That's the only place we both had our phones. We were in there about an hour, but it's a restaurant. We didn't film in there, which is annoying, but it was nicely spaced apart. The tables were much further apart than in a normal restaurant. They did the whole spraying down and cleaning the table before and after us. It was as COVID secure as you could hope for a restaurant to be. So if that's where it's happened, I'm fairly confident we've not been exposed to it. So I've done lots of Googling. I've done lots of talking to people on Twitter to try and work out if we have to follow it or if we should follow it. And even the ping itself, it has this wording. I'll put the wording up on screen now. Let me just read it out for those of you who are as lazy as me and don't want to read it. This is the bit that it says at the bottom of the ping. Because you're a contact of someone who's tested positive, you can book a test to see if you have COVID-19. If you test positive, you can anonymously let others know that they may be at risk. This is the key bit. If you test negative, you could still be contagious. Follow the advice given to you when you receive your test result. Now that says to me, and this is because the rules are so fluffy on this. There is no.
Well, no,
this is the rule.
The 16th, which is in.
We'll get to that in a minute. Let's do this in order. But that says to me that if you have a test and it comes back negative, the advice you get then overrules the advice you've got here. That's the way I interpret that. And there is no clarification of that anywhere. So we've booked these PCR tests. Normally you can't get a PCR test unless you have symptoms. Neither of us have any symptoms. But because we've been pinged, we're now able to get the PCR tests. So we have them booked for tomorrow. So assuming we have them and they come back negative, I think we are then both morally, consciously, legally, however you want to view it, I think we're okay following whatever those results say. If they come back negative and say we don't have to self-isolate, we then have a legally binding piece of paper then saying we don't have to self-isolate. And I think morally I'm comfortable doing it because I don't see how we were at risk. Add on to that what Anna was just saying. The rules in the UK change a week today, Monday the 16th, the rules change where if you get pinged by the app from next Monday and you're double vaccinated, you won't have to self-isolate anymore. It's another one of these things where the change to the rules has been announced way in advance. So we're now, I mean, our self-isolation officially doesn't end until August the 18th. Well, on August the 16th, we won't have to self-isolate anymore. So again, there's no clarification on what that rule would be. So if we do now self-isolate, can we wake up on Monday next week and go, well, we're double vaccinated, we don't have to do this anymore? Or are we still got to go through to the 18th because we're doing it now? And if it is as absurd as we can wake up on Monday and not have to isolate because the rules have changed, then why can't we go to my brother's wedding 2 days before? It's ridiculous. The rules are so very unclear. But if you're not in the UK, I'll try and clarify as best I can. It is a nightmare. There is... Again, I'll put this up on the screen. There is this from the government website. This scared me a little bit when I read this bit. Let's just get this quote. So when I read this one, I thought we were cut and dry, didn't have to think about it anymore. It's a legal requirement to self-isolate if you are told to by NHS Test and Trace. You could be fined if you do not self-isolate. So I thought, oh, well, that's that then. Until someone on Twitter told me the app isn't NHS Test and Trace. What? NHS Test and Trace... This is Track and Trace, the app. NHS Test and Trace is when someone phones up and tells you that you've been directly exposed and you have to isolate. So we've not been... You're leaned well off screen.
Sorry.
So it's not NHS Test and Trace that has contacted us. It's it's the Track and Trace app, which is advisory and entirely voluntary. Voluntary to the point of there's no legal requirement to even have it on your phone. If you have it on your phone, there's no legal requirement to use it. There's also no legal requirement to have the contact tracing on. And even if you are pinged by contact tracing, the way we've been, there's no legal requirement to pay attention to it or do anything about it. I've had a number of people reach out and say, yeah, I work in the NHS, or I work in... Oh,
they've been told to.
Yeah, and at the end, the NHS have been told to turn the contact tracing off. If you work in hospitality, you've basically been told to turn it off when you're at work and just disregard it. Hello, Dave. So it seems like there's a very small proportion of the population who are even still using it. And from the feedback I've had so far of the people who are using it, I've not had anybody say, yeah, I got pinged and isolated for 10 days. I've had lots of people say, yeah, I got pinged and ignored it, or I got pinged and deleted the app, or I got pinged... Or I got pinged, did the test, it came back negative and I was fine. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like if Bob from down the street is getting pinged and just deleting the app and then going down the pub as planned, or Mavis across the road hasn't even bothered installing the app so she can never get pinged.
Well, even neighbours.
Yeah, but if these people aren't doing it and aren't following it, why should we miss my brother's wedding?
It's been cancelled twice.
Yeah, because of COVID. Why should we miss that? Just on the off chance that these two fully vaccinated people who've tested negative multiple times might be able to spread it to a bunch of people who, let's face it, in a group setting of that size, there's probably a load of people who are going to be there who don't have the app or have it turned off or aren't using it, whatever. So, I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do is. Feel free to tell us your thoughts down in the comments. I know this is going to be quite divisive. I know there's going to be people amongst you who are going to say we must self-isolate regardless. And that's fair enough if that's what you'd do. I know there's going to be people who are at the complete opposite end of the spectrum who are going to say,
but we've booked
just ignore it. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know there's going to be people who say just ignore it. But I think what we've decided we're going to do, as Anna says, we've booked the tests. We've had to do it as home tests because there's no way Andy's going to cooperate and come for tests at the drive-through or the walk-in, and there's no way he'll agree to be tested, so there's no point even trying to test him, even though theoretically he would have been exposed to it just the same as we have, so obviously keep an eye on him as well. But we've got tests booked for tomorrow, the PCR tests. We've ordered a bunch more lateral flow tests as well. We've got a few left. We get them quite regularly. We've got a few left. We've ordered a bunch more of them, enough to get us through until Monday.
I thought it was Sunday.
Sunday or Monday. I think the last test will be Sunday,
right.
And then from Monday we can figure out what to do from there. But we've got enough lateral flow tests to get us through the weekend. We've got PCR tests booked for tomorrow. So I think what we're going to be doing is going along for the PCR test tomorrow, or having it done at home, and then following the advice from that. If that comes back and says we're both negative and we're fine, I think we carry on with our week as planned. I think we still take Andy to Nottingham, because the consequences of not taking him when he's been looking forward to it don't bear thinking about. I think we still go to the wedding, and I think we just act as if it never happened. If the test comes back as negative, we'll lateral flow test every morning. We'll even do it in the hotel on Saturday morning before the wedding. And I think we just go with what the test results say. And I know there's going to be another section of you say, well, if you're going to ignore the results, why are you even telling us about them? Why are you making the video? And I just feel like it's really important to, be really open and honest about it and say...
No, if it comes back positive, we'll stay home.
Yeah, obviously. But at the same time, we could have just ignored it. Could have just deleted the app, not mentioned it, just said to each other, yeah, we're ignoring this, deleted the app, gone about our week, and there is no comeback on us then. But I think that would be... We've always prided ourselves on this vlog of showing you everything. And, the good stuff, the bad stuff, the complicated, difficult, confusing stuff, the stuff where and in this case, I guess it's a situation where some of you are going to see us in a negative light off the back of what we're choosing to do off the back of it. But I think it is important to be open and honest, whilst at the same time shining a light on the fact that this system is absolute bobbins, because I consider myself to be an intelligent man. I've spent an hour doing a lot of research. I've read everything I can possibly read. I've spoken to other intelligent people, and there isn't a rule. There is no clear rule about this. And I don't understand how we can... I'm not going to get on a politics rant. I'm going to be quick. But I do not understand how we can be a year and a half into a global pandemic and not have a simple, easy-to-follow rule for something as fundamental to the whole thing as this. It's absurd. But there isn't a rule. And it's down to interpretation of the individual.
Do you know why it is, Kevin?
Because people are wang about one way or the other.
It's because this week you want to do something and the world doesn't want you to.
I know. I was answering a different question. The reason there's no rule is because if they put a hard and fast rule, that gives them something for people to disagree with, and that's political suicide. So you can't have a rule because then people can disagree with your rule. I get that, but it's stupid. There needs to be clarity. And the ridiculous thing is, from a week today, there is clarity. If that happens this time next week, we ignore it. So we're not going to ignore it, and we wouldn't ignore it next week either. I think next week we'd respond in exactly the same way. If we got pinged, we would get tests, and we wouldn't go out until we got the tests. I mean, we've got lots of minor inconveniences in the meantime as well. Like, we have no food in the house. I was literally finishing off editing a video, and I was about to walk down to the shop and get us some dinner, which I'm now not going to be able to do, so I guess we're going to have to order in some kind of takeaway. but it doesn't help with the weight loss thing we're trying to do at the moment, that we've now got to get a takeaway. We're due to get shopping tomorrow, but I can't go and pick up the shopping now. There's no way to get a delivery slot on the shopping at short notice. I'm not allowed to leave the house. Not allowed to go. So we now can't get our Tesco food shop. We don't have any family or friends local who can drop that off for us. So I think we're probably going to get another one of those Morrison's food boxes to come tomorrow if we can. It's 3:00 now. Fingers crossed we can get one of them to come for tomorrow, so we've got at least some fresh food that we can eat, and like some bread, some vegetables, some milk, that kind of stuff. Andy's good for a few days. We've got his stuff. We fill the freezer up periodically, so he's got loads of stuff. He's got crisps. There you go. Cool. So we can get some groceries sorted on short notice. But also my prescription for my blood pressure medication, I was due to collect that this afternoon as well. I've got 2 days of medication left. So I don't know what the situation is there, because our nearest family or friends are an hour away. So what do we do? If I run out of my medication and we come back with these PCR tests as positive, do I stop taking my blood pressure meds? Can the pharmacy deliver that to me? I don't know. This is a nightmare. But yeah, that's the situation. One big inconvenience, lots of little minor inconveniences, and we don't really know what we're going to be doing. Are you edging off camera again?
Yeah, it's because you've took up all the space, and then Dave took up more space, so I just have to keep
You just sat there on your phone. You're making a video here.
I'm trying to find this.
But yeah, that's the situation. I don't think there's anything else we need to say about it, is there? We'll be back tomorrow. I guess doing the tests tomorrow.
You can do yours.
Well, you're doing your tests.
Yes, but I'm not doing it on camera.
I never said we'd film them. No, filming, yeah, people don't need to see us gagging. But yeah, tomorrow is test day, and then fingers crossed, later on in the week, we can continue as planned. Keep your fingers crossed for us, folks. We've already spent hundreds of pounds on wedding costumes. I was about to break my shoes in and everything.
Yeah, I can't send mine back now.
We've got 4DX cinema tickets booked for Friday night. We were going to go to a fancy cinema screen. Spent 40 quid on those. We've got 2 nights in a hotel booked that's already paid for. Oh, this is rubbish.
Childcare.
Yeah, we've already paid short stay to come and look after Andy for the weekend.
Yeah.
We're a good 800 quid down on this week as it is already, and we might just be sat at home for it ordering takeaways, which is more expense.
Yeah, Co-op can't deliver here.
Ah!